The reason why I came to this mastermind is because they operate their whole business around AI.
I always knew about Claude Code, but I never knew that it's the mother
And you
lode.
spend like days, nights for that, so yeah, just learn from the best.
Before today, I just used the Claude chat. I would say it's stupid to not have it because you would save so much time, and it's also really fun to work with it if you know how to.
Honestly, I swear, it changed my life. You get it quick. One day you learn this whole thing and you don't have to do anything anymore. That's it.
My name is Serdar BC and I'm the CEO and founder of OmniFusion AI. Today we are in the hub in Paranan throwing our AIOS Mastermind, which is the third one of its kind. The first one we threw in Cape Town 2 months ago, then we had one in Uluwatu 1 month ago, and now we are here in Canggu throwing the next Mastermind, which was sold out after just 1 day. This Mastermind is more of a workshop. We are here hands-on with 6 business owners since 7 hours and still going to implement a full Claude Code AIOS business system and business engine into their business and customize it specifically on the needs they have. After this day, all of these founders will be more productive, can cut down their team, and have more output than ever before while using AI in the most productive way possible. Our mission with these masterminds and workshops is to actually get them a full AIOS system that runs their business, or at least 70-80% of their business, so they can actually focus on what really counts and what really pushes the business forward. We're running OmniFusion AI for the past 3 years, and over the past 3 months we were locking in on the Claude Code revolution like never before, because we really believe this might be the last lock-in to actually get repetitive work outsourced to smart AI agents so you can actually focus on what moves the needle. If you're not locking in to this topic right now, I can promise you that you will be left behind extremely fast. I want to explain you more about context. And when I say context, I don't mean context on your business or the word context about who you are and what you do. The other term where we use context is an AI context window. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know what AI tokens are and the token usage, right? And this is your Claude Code, and I think this is one of the best drawings I've ever made in my life. This is your cursor and Claude Code, right? And I want to explain you just the raw fundamentals of what Claude sees and what it remembers and what it does not, so you understand how the file system and everything around it works. So on the left side, usually I think for you it's on the right side if we didn't change it, but on this left or right side, for most of you it will be on the left side where it says your folder name, and then you see a lot of files, right? That's your file directory. Every Claude Code session that you're going to open in Cursor has access to all of this. So this is like the folder that Claude Code can always access on demand. So it's not, when you open a chat here, it doesn't know all of this, what's inside, because otherwise it would be too much context, right? It always starts with the Claude MD. You will all see that there is a Claude.md. You all have a Claude MD file on that left side, and that Claude MD is basically like the root document, the core document that tells your Claude Code where to look for something and when to load some files or some documents. This is basically like if you have a new employee in your company and you give him an SOP or a script or whatever, that's the Claude MD. So if you, for example, have a project, I have multiple businesses and I run my businesses with subfolders, and my Claude MD says very concise, okay, the M-Tracker folder includes the M-Tracker website, about this, what is the software about, and then about the next thing. So that's basically a summary of your whole directory and tells your Claude where to find something. And it's very important to maintain this document continuously. I do once a week or every 2 weeks. I tell my Claude, yo, look through my Claude MD and check if it's still efficient, if there's something duplicated, if we can truncate something, because the more concentrated and organized this Claude MD is, the better your Claude will work. The Claude MD is the brain. And the memory MD, and MD stands for markdown file. It's a fancy word for just document, bro. It's nothing special, it's just a MD file. And the memory is basically everything you tell it to do, how to do it, and what to do, what not to do. It's the rule set. So this is the SOP, what to do is Claude MD, and how to do it and what not to do and what the rules are is the memory MD. And every single chat session you have with Claude, be it on Telegram, be it on Cursor, always loads the Claude MD and the memory MD. It doesn't load any of this shit. it always starts with loading these two. And so it's very important to maintain these two continuously and every couple of weeks to keep them nice and aligned. For example, if you say, yo bro, never do this, what it's gonna do, it's gonna write it into memory MD. Never do this, never do that, always do this, always, for example, for me, before it sends a Telegram message in my name, it always has to ask me for approval. So it tells me, I'm going to send this message to Emil in Telegram, approve or not. So this is a rule. So it never sends it out without my approval, and it puts it into the memory MD. So brain, rules, cool. That's the raw framework. So if you start a conversation, let's say you open a new tab, right? You all have these tabs open in Cursor right now. When you start the conversation, it will start at 0%. And then it's going to load Claude MD and memory MD. Before it writes a single word back to you, it will always load these two files to understand who is this guy, who is this business. Because you have to keep in mind, when you open a new tab, this is just a new Claude session, which doesn't know shit. It's just Claude. Your new tab is the same as my new tab. And to understand how to work with you or how to work with me, it needs to load these two files. So that's always what it's loading. And this is then probably going to be already like 2 to 3%, okay? And then from there you have a conversation back and forth, fix this, do this, do this. And then at some point you hit 30%. And to check, you can all do that right now. In the conversation that you have, type in /context and then press enter. Because what I wanted to explain is this. Every new message that you send into the chat always needs to load the whole context from before. So every message that you're sending now makes Claude read the whole conversation again to actually understand everything about your chat. You can imagine that every message that you're sending is an API call to Claude's servers, right? And every API call is the same. But why does it remember what you said 10 messages ago? Because it sends the whole pack to Anthropic. And if you send the next message, it's just going to add it and send the whole pack again. So it's sending more and more shit in one conversation to the API. And the problem with that is, at some point, it becomes more and more and more. And if it goes above, let's say, 50%, it will become retarded.
What?
Why? Because there's so much noise. You send it like 500,000 tokens, and maybe what you are referring to was at token 220,000. And it has so much to go through that every single word becomes less important because it's so many words. Does that make sense?
Shit.
And you never want it to go to 100%. So I usually try to stay below 30. So that's what I just said, 36% is already danger territory. And while working with it, you will figure it out. If it's above 30%, it will make more mistakes. It will just forget things because it's just so much context. Imagine I give you one page to learn everything that's on that page, quite easy. But if I give you 500 pages and say, remember everything, you will not remember everything. And that's literally how this works, because AI itself or Claude Code itself doesn't know shit about you. It just reads it every single time. And the more context you feed it with, the more retarded it will get. And as we want the best output every time, the best work, and the best possible AI, we will prevent to go above 30%. That's the handover skill. Some of you guys have already seen it. If we don't have the skill, luckily you are at this mastermind, and that's why this is so valuable, to be honest. If you don't have the skill, Claude has an inbuilt feature, it's called compaction mode, or auto-compact. And that's probably what happened to Reese. If you're at like 10%, I doubt that it was just 10% in total. But if it goes to 70 or 80%, it will auto-compact. And the problem with this is, auto-compact simply summarizes everything that happened here in the 80%. It will summarize it into 5%, give it to a new chat, and then you continue. And you don't even see that it happened. But then you're like, bro, I told you that before. But it's simply not in the summary, you know? Because the summary is non-deterministic. It just tells another AI, basically, it tells Claude, yo, look, here's 800,000 words, summarize this to be 5,000. And it doesn't know what's important, what's not important, what is interesting to keep in mind. So it just compacts it so you can continue. So it will get more and more stupid over time. But what we do is once we see it's at 30%, and I'll also show you how you can always see it, either you do /context every now and then, and when you are mid-work, you just said you're mid-work, for example, it does something. And if you hit 30%, you can use the /handover skill that's in your AIOS kit. And if you do not see the / command, just ask it, yo, in the AIOS kit, there is the handover skill, please install it. This is crucial. If you're mid-work and you're at 30+%, you just say /handover and it knows exactly what to do. It will go through the whole conversation and extract the most important parts of it, the thinking process, why we did something, the memories that are important, and save that into a memory file. You all check your folder directory, you all have a handover folder. If you have installed the AIOS starter kit, there should be a handover folder. I've seen it in yours, I think.
The skills?
No, on the left side there should be a folder. If you ever used it. If you never used it, it will not be there. Okay. But if the first time you use it, it will create the handover folder. And it's also cool because inside of the handover folder, then you have the files with all the work you have ever done, and the progress, and the learnings, and everything around it. So if we hit 30+%, we are simply going to use /handover. Then it's going to say, okay, I will make a handover. It creates a file where you are at, what's the next steps, what we already did, why we did it, and so on. So compared to auto-compaction, which is just a summary, this one is choosing the most important parts and putting it into a file that is consistently updated. Because auto-compaction summarizes it once, then it gets big again, then it summarizes again. But with this handover skill, you have a very detailed summary and precise explanation of where you are, what you learned. And next time you do handover, it's just going to add it to it and also change the first part if it needs to be changed. So it's a living document that just gets bigger and more interesting and with more learnings over time. One more thing I want to talk with you about. Emil had a good point there to explain this because this is super powerful. Cron jobs. Cron jobs are basically automated scheduled tasks. And the cool thing is you can run them from your MacBook. So, for example, for me, every day at 10 p.m., my personal coach sends me a message. It checks what I ate during the day. It checks how many calories I had. It checks what I weighed in the morning. It checks my last 7 days of how I felt and all this shit. And it sends me a message on Telegram and asks me the stuff that it's still missing. How was your mood today? How was training? What did you do? Blah, blah, blah. This is just an example, but it can do anything. For example, if you guys connect Shopify and maybe Stripe or whatever your payment provider is, you can just tell Claude Code to set up an automation every day at 8 a.m. to check the Shopify API, the Stripe API, Google Analytics, my emails, and give me a full summary of what happened in the last 24 hours. And every day at 8 a.m. it will send you a message on Telegram with the summary of everything you want to know. And cron jobs are basically just scheduled tasks. So whatever you would now tell it, now I just told it, give me the updated extension bullshit, right? But if I need this every day or every hour or every week, I can just tell it every day, every week, every hour, do this. And it's just going to schedule it. The only thing necessary here is your laptop needs to be on.